Hello everyone, Mark here, Mark's Max Muscle, and today we are taking a look at a 1990s legend, Paul Dillett. Well, is he a legend? Yeah, I think so. I think all them famous guys from the 90s, they're all legends. Against Andrew Jack, a current competitor, here are the results of yesterday's poll, and it was staggering. 64 percentile of you lads and laddies, prapalies, and everyone in between. Well, this is going to be a good one, guys. As you can see, Paul Dillett, he is every inch of the muscle man that Andrew Jack is, and I guess by that I mean they're both really tall. They're both probably about 6'3" in my estimation. Go through these shots. Interesting. Probably going to get a little bit of a negative feedback from you Dillettites, Paul Dillett followers. You missized this one, Mark's Max Muscle. Paul Dillett is a monster. Well, he's standing a little bit straighter at the knees is why I made Paul a little bit taller. Like I said, I think they're about the same height. But Andrew Jack is a monster. I bet you if these two dudes stepped on the scale, Andrew Jack, his would measure a bigger number. I think he's a bigger junk of a man. Paul Dillett, and here's where I get the hate, somewhat narrow. You guys hate that. He's got huge quads, massive calves, great big arms, massive arms, but as far as his, the actual structure, the midsection, everything's so minute. Maybe the smallest midsection of a guy this weight. Probably. Well, we don't know how much Paul weighed, do we? Here's a photo shoot for those of you wondering. Show the photo shoot of Paul. It's better. Still, I don't even think using this one that Paul is doing enough to defeat Andrew Jack. It's actually pretty close, but I would wager to say, if I had to guess, Andrew Jack would be in the better condition. As far as the dryness, the lags, things of that nature. But, it's Paul's giving him a run for his money. That's for darn sure. Here is the front lat spread. And you know what the problem is here. These guys are basically the same structures. Paul, to his credit, I think his midsection is smaller. And his abs are pretty good, too. They're better than Jack's. They're pretty good. Also, too. Now, anyway, I trail off. The biggest difference is Andrew Jack knows how to strike the poses a lot better. Paul Dillett is trying to flex the traps. That is the first mistake. That's your first mistake. It's like trying to flex the lats when you're doing a crab position. Yeah, I find personally, if I do a front lat spread, my traps disappear if I want to bring out the lats a little bit better. So I think that was what he was doing wrong with this shot. And having said that, Andrew Jack, it looks like basically they're playing with the same tools. Holes. But you never know. Could be the situation where maybe just Paul's lats were a little bit weaker. But you can see the delts being pushed down. They should be put up. That's what Andrew Jack. Turn to the side, for goodness sakes. Now there's a saying you don't hear very often anymore. For goodness sakes alive. A little addition. I wonder which one was first. Paul, looking pretty good here. You see what I mean? When I say he's slightly narrow from the front, from the side, he was very substantial. Trump, Donald Trump. Next president. Now, yeah, compare the pecs. Paul's far pec, pretty good. Andrew's is pretty decent, too. But throw the arms in the equation, and from the side, Paul Dillett, wow, did he have some wheels. Wheels. Having a hard time with that word today. Don't know why. Go to the side tricep, and is this a situation? Do you guys think that Paul's getting each side shot? Let's face facts, guys. Paul was great in that front double. It just so happens Andrew Jack might be the best of all time in that shot, but it was still close. Andrew obviously winning the front lat spread. But from the side point of view, condition-wise too, guys, Paul was ripped. Mooney. Seems to be a tie game. Now go to these back shots because first of all, we're writing the rear lat spread off. There's no actual shot from Paul Dillett. I say that time and time again. You can kind of tell. He had the traps. He had the meat. No wonder his traps were showing in that front lat. Look at the size of those Clydesdales. This is 93. And, yeah, like I said, we're not using it. Go to the rear double by. Now here is Paul in his prime. Now, see that? That has a nice ring to it. Paul in his prime. That could be a name of a song. Paul in his prime, do you have the time to sing your little rhyme? You better wrap it up and see Paul in his prime. Well, didn't sound too good. Paul is shredded to the diced. Look at those glutes. He's sucking them in. Now, back-wise, I'll admit, Paul doesn't look as bad as I thought he was gonna. I had to fish this picture out of the woodworks because it was a very important matchup for Paul. And thus far on my channel, I've been using a sucky old picture of his back shot. Not good for anything. Wasn't worth a pinch of salt. I'm telling you right now. Well, at one time, salt was worth quite. Well, what? Doesn't matter. My point is, it's a pretty close shot. Now, let me get my little pointer stick out here. Now, I'm gonna tap the delts of Andrew Jack. Yeah. Okay, they're hard. Now I'm going to touch the delts of Paul Dillett. Now, did you hear that? I didn't either. It didn't make a click. That means his delts are a little soft. I'm not saying there's slapped on clay in there, but they're still soft and lack separation. So I'm going to write that down with my actual pointer stick. Now go to the abs and thigh. Second to last pose. This is one of those pictures of Paul Dillett that just downright sucks. And lately, on my channel anyway, been giving him not a fair chance against these modern day competitors. So let's bring up a better one. You see, right out of the chute, it gives him an advantage over the other picture. The quality of it. You can see the finely cut, etched abs. Look at those little cut abs on such a mass monster. It's incredible. Andrew Jack looks like some sort of creature with like scales on his stomach. It looks like an ectoskeleton. Does not look like muscle. I don't think there's bone inside. I think his muscles are bone. It is not a bone. That's what they told us. But anyway, much like that front double, a great shot for Paul Dillett, maybe one of his finest, but still, Andrew Jack, maybe the finest of all time. So, here's the most muscular to finish this little dandy of a comparison off. And Paul Dillett, you can see what I mean by he's narrower than a guy, usually his height. Because at the delts, looks like Andrew Jack, he would measure a little wider. But who would you suggest has the bigger delts? I would say Paul Dillett. I would say Paul. So shouldn't he be twice as wide? Well, he's not because his frame is slightly narrower. But all in all, he has the arms. And I would give him this shot, and it makes it kind of debatable. You know? The back shot condition, everything, the whole package. And these newfound good pitchers that I've been using, obviously, are giving Paul Dillett a better chance against these guys. But all in all, I think it's close. But we're going to go ahead and give Andrew Jack the win. We took this halfway serious. Because Paul Dillett, let's face it, he did have the groceries to compete with Andrew Jack. So if you really want to Well, you want to fight. You had to push on the gas pedal, though, I can tell you that. Andrew Jack, any expert, they looked at all these pictures, seen the condition, wheels, back, hamstrings, front lat, all the poses, things of that nature. They would say the same thing. Plus, one could pose elegantly, one not quite so much. They started shaking like that. They're not going to give him the W. Have a great one, guys.